So that's the news, and now we'll move into the focus of the Straight Talk webinar. Every Straight Talk webinar is going to focus and go in depth with one particular topic, as Dave said. Well, this week's topic, which we're going to have some fun with, is the recent Old Spice Guy campaign run by Portland-based ad agency Wieden & Kennedy. The campaign started, of course, with the now famous Super Bowl ad this past February, when the Old Spice Guy, played by actor Isaiah Mustafa, took the world by storm. In case you haven't seen the ad lately, here it is again. And just know that how the video appears is going to depend a bit on your internet connection.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat. With the man, your man could smell it. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
Old Spice didn't stop there, though. Another commercial was filmed and run a few months later, but about 3 weeks ago, Old Spice struck on a gold mine of an idea. Old Spice tweeted, "Today could be just like the other 364 days you log into Twitter, or maybe the Old Spice man shows up at Old Spice." From there, the Old Spice Guy responded to tweets and Facebook posts, posts from smaller social media sites like Reddit, comments on YouTube videos, and other posts around the internet, answering all sorts of questions. He talked to celebrities such as Alyssa Milano and George Stephanopoulos, but also talked to dozens of regular people. He proposed to one man's girlfriend on the man's behalf, she said yes, and answered questions about life, love, manliness, and, of course, Old Spice. Here's an example of one of the over 180 videos made in the 2-day period.
Iggy P0P asks, what is the manliest thing you've ever done? Let me think. Probably the time I sprinted the summit of Mount Fuji with both my ankles snared in bear traps. No. It was probably when I wheelied my motorcycle for 10,000 consecutive kilometers on my way to Mount Fuji. Never mind. I'm pretty sure it was the night before that, when I ripped off the metal siding on my house and used it to forge that motorcycle with my bare hands while I was asleep. That was probably it.
Old Spice didn't stop there either. In addition to taking their Old Spice Guy video responses to several social media sites, including Twitter, Facebook, and others, Old Spice's initial commercial was so entertaining that one of the company's fans created, in conjunction with the company, a special website called OldSpiceVoicemail.com, where men and women could generate a voicemail message spoken by everyone's favorite shirtless hero. This wasn't something the company did on its own. It was something that a man who liked Old Spice decided to develop for them because he liked their new campaign so much. That is powerful marketing, when your fans start creating your materials for you. You can see some of the options above of the here of the voicemail generator. Here's what one of the voicemail messages sounds like.
Hello, you have dialed 50360887810. The tall, accomplished man you're calling can't come to the phone right now because they're cracking walnuts with their man mind. But leave a message and they'll return your call as soon as possible. This voicemail is now diamonds. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
As great as this campaign was, there's another aspect you may not have heard about alongside the videos, social media promotions, and all of the buzz created by the Old Spice Guy. According to a recent Ad Age article, Old Spice combined the sensation of the Old Spice Guy with heavily discounted prices and coupons like 2-for-1 offers. They not only refreshed and revitalized their brand, turning their company's decline in stock value around and helping it grow again, but they also made sure that people had incentive to actually purchase their products. And the payoff is showing. Nielsen reported last week that all of Old Spice's sales are up, but sales of Old Spice's body wash in particular, which is the product advertised in the original commercial, have risen 107%. So in other words, have more than doubled in the last few months. In rebranding itself and driving sales, Old Spice has made sure its Old Spice Guy campaign has been both a sales and a customer relations hit. So clearly the Old Spice Guy campaign has been successful. What can we learn from it? Well, the first thing I want to talk about is straight mimicry. Marketers should be very wary of direct imitation of the Old Spice Guy. I've seen it done well in only 1 or 2 cases. Here's a great example for a library at Brigham Young University, and more generally for libraries everywhere.
Hello, scholars. Look at your grades. Now look at mine. Now back at your grades. Now back to mine. Sadly, they're not like mine. But if you stop studying in a cave and started studying like me, they could be like mine. Look at your shirt. Now back at mine. Look down, back up. Where are you? You're in the library with the man your grades could be like. Did you know that 8 out of 5 dentists say that studying in the library is 6 bajillion times more effective than studying in your shower? Close your eyes. Now open your eyes. Where are you? You're in a beautifully quiet place where you can study. Look at your hand. Now back to me. I have it. It's a laptop with access to bucket loads of library databases. Look again. The laptop is now a celestial sandwich here in the snack zone. Anything is possible when you're in the library. I'm on a cart. Yeah!
So that's clearly a great example, but there's also the bad examples as well. And unfortunately, the bad examples outweigh the good 100 to 1. You could spend all day watching painful imitations of the Old Spice Guy campaign. Here's one example. This one was done by an organization in Portland that I love and support called Friends of Trees. Friends of Trees plants trees all over the city, and here is their attempt at an Old Spice Guy imitation.
Hello, ladies. How are you? Fantastic. Look at your man. Now look at the tree. Now back at your man. Now back at the tree. Sadly, your man is not a tree. But he could plant a tree. Can he turn carbon dioxide into oxygen? Can he shade your home in the summer and block the wind in the winter? Can he provide you with beauty for a lifetime? Anything is possible when your man plants with Friends of Trees.
Unfortunately, you can see that this mimics the idea without capturing any of the spirit. Mimicry is iffy, and it's not the way to go when thinking about what you can learn from the Old Spice Guy campaign. So if mimicry is iffy and not recommended, what lessons can be learned from the Old Spice Guy? I've come up with 6 takeaways from the Old Spice Guy campaign. The first is that personality pays. What Old Spice did well, and what other brands have done well, as you can see from these pictures of other well-known advertising personalities, is create a personality that was funny, engaging, and had room for expansion. The Old Spice Guy started off being sort of the generic ultimate man, but as the personality grew in the hands of actor Isaiah Mustafa, the world learned they wanted to know more and more about him. Eventually, they got to ask him specific questions that he responded to. Questions like, can you die? And as we saw a moment ago, what's the manliest thing you've ever done? So the first thing Wieden & Kennedy did was to create a good personality. For your company, this doesn't have to be as complicated as a humorous or outlandish fictional personality. It can be as simple as having an engaging person being the public face of your company on your social media sites, your website, and your marketing materials. And remember that it's much more about the tone and personality of the writing than a crazy character. After all, without the Wieden & Kennedy writers, the Old Spice Guy is just a ridiculously handsome man. Personality pays. The second important lesson from the Old Spice Guy is that you should leverage your previous success. In February, when the Old Spice Guy first appeared in a Super Bowl ad, no one had any idea he would be such a great phenomenon. Once the original commercial was a success, Old Spice leveraged that success and the personality that had been developed by letting the concept evolve and expand into the social media campaign we saw in mid-July. This takeaway, leverage previous success, goes hand in hand with the next lesson, which is to spread your message out. Wieden & Kennedy didn't stop with traditional TV commercials. Instead, they spread the message out to social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and even smaller social media sites like Reddit, which co-sponsored the OldSpiceVoicemail.com site. When you run an ad campaign or a promotion, constantly think about how you can spread the message out. But this is different than print marketing, where you might use the same images and copy in several different materials, a brochure, a newspaper ad, and a banner. Instead, not only was the Old Spice Guy all over the place, but he was spread out in creative ways that were specific to each location. In other words, Old Spice didn't just show the original commercial across these channels, but they figured out creative ways to use them. Facebook is primarily used for creating personal profiles for individuals and businesses and allows for some customization. So the Old Spice Facebook page now automatically redirects to a special tab showing the Old Spice Guy responses to Facebook posts. YouTube, the well-known internet video service, has had Old Spice Guy response videos as the top recommended videos for the last 3 weeks. And of course, Twitter, which is used primarily for sharing short statements of 140 characters or fewer, is where the Old Spice Guy response campaign all started when they announced that the Old Spice guy would be showing up, and when people could then respond with short questions. Old Spice did a remarkable job of spreading the message out as much as possible and using various social media sites to their maximum advantage.